You're absolutely correct. So I call it reverse engineering. So we look at, okay, yes, at the end of the day, you want to increase, sales by, let's say, 50%. And then I look at, all right, well, based on what your current efforts are, what do we need to do to get there?
Welcome back to For Entrepreneurs by Entrepreneurs. I am Eric Verdi. Episode 29 this week is Casey Clark with C3 Consulting. Casey and I have a similar background where we both have our MBAs. Hers is in marketing, mine's in finance. Casey is helping business owners, entrepreneurs grow their business. Specifically, kind of her little niche is like in the health and wellness industry, but she's doing consulting now. Bundle of energy, wealth of knowledge. Casey, thank you for joining us this week.
Thank you so much for having me.
So before we get into the meat of the interview and talk about consulting, how to grow a consulting business, give our listeners and viewers your backstory.
So I'm from the Frederick, Maryland area. I'm born and raised. I at one point wanted to leave, and now that I'm an adult, I don't want to leave at all. I love this area. Not married, no kids, so my primary focus is my business, and I just love helping others improve themselves, specifically kids who come from adverse backgrounds, and I just like to show people that they can, thrive, and that their limitations don't have to hold them back.
So you're from Frederick. You went away, not too far away for college, back in Frederick. And did you do anything before starting your consulting business?
I did. So actually fresh out of high school, I had a very short stint in the Navy. I tore the ligaments in my ankle, so I was discharged, and it was a blessing in disguise. Being an entrepreneur now, I don't know whatever made me want to go into something where I was constantly being told what to do. So those who know me know that I don't take that too well these days. So speaking of being an entrepreneur, I have a business called Heaven on Earth, which is a health and wellness company that I started back in 2013. And in 2016, I founded BioSolutions, where we clean up hoarding, homicides, suicides, things of that nature. And then in 2017 is when I launched C. Clark Consulting. So my hands are definitely full.
Awesome. So you know how to start and grow a business. And that's what that's what the consulting brand is that you're doing with C. Clark Consulting or C3 Consulting?
Yeah, so we focus on growth. So while we are technically a marketing agency, we consider ourselves a growth agency, and we do, just what you said. We help businesses get started and really grow. And, no matter if they're a startup or they're looking to sell the company, and increase revenue, we can help them develop a strategy and implement that for them.
Awesome. So I'm gonna ask some different questions here. I'm going to go kind of deep here. So you focus on growth. So growth can mean a lot of different things. What are you focusing on? Then to follow that up, and I'm going to keep drilling deeper.
That's fine. So with growth, we look at aligning marketing, sales, and service. So a lot of times you come into a company where the marketing team is doing their own thing. The sales team has no idea what's going on. And, they'll get a lead, and it's almost like talking to two different companies. So we go in and develop the processes, the systems, and the content for those two departments to be on track with one another. And then to take it to another level, we look at service and how is your customer service department, or how is your entire organization making it so that it seems like, a streamlined process, and that it's not this segmented thing where people have no idea what's going on. And again, we develop those processes and procedures and help train the staff to make sure that everyone's on the same page.
And what size businesses are you working with?
So we work with small businesses and medium businesses. We try not to go with companies that do over 10 million a year, because typically they need like an in-house marketing, department. But still, we are able to come in and help consult that department if necessary, but we like to target small and medium businesses.
So how often do you see businesses where the sales and the branding, the overall vision don't align?
All the time.
And then how do you, what do you focus on when you come in and consult a company when you're focusing on sales? Like there's many different levels of sales. Okay, you're either getting more client acquisition. It's either client acquisition, right? It's either client retention, or it's increasing the volume of the sale for each client. Like which one, do you have a specific one that you focus on? Do you look at the overall picture and then come back to a company and say, okay, you're really, really good at client retention. You're horrible at lead generation and then like, how do you work?
So I actually focus on mindset. So when I come into a business, I look at, do they have what I call me syndrome? So are you just talking about you on the website, awards you've gotten, things you've accomplished, what you provide? That is a very selfish approach in my opinion. So I look at where can we make the customer or client feel like the company understands their pain points. So where is it more client centric? And how do we create a message from marketing to sales that aligns with that focus? And when we lead from like a helping mentality and, this is how I can help resolve your pain point, the sales automatically increase, leads automatically increase. It's a lot easier to convert, leads to customers, and it's a lot easier to retain them. So those things then fall into place.
Correct. You're either selling yourself or you're solving a problem for the customer.
Yeah.
Fluoride bleach solves the problem of cleaning. What problem do you solve in your business as opposed to, I was reading Seth Godin, This is Marketing, this morning, and it talks about niching down and overcoming, helping your clients overcome the hurdles in their business via helping them help their clients solve the problems in their life or in their world or whatever. In each of those problems, you can have this grandiose view of ending hunger. Okay, that's not something that you're going to do overnight. The first step would be having an attainable goal, and I imagine that's what you work with your consulting companies is making small, micro attainable goals. Is that? I'm taking a leap of faith here. Is that correct?
You're absolutely correct. So I call it reverse engineering. So we look at, okay, yes, at the end of the day, you want to increase, sales by, let's say, 50%. And then I look at, all right, well, based on what your current efforts are, what do we need to do to get there? And then I break that down into small goals and just work it backwards. We use the website as a huge sales tool, but we also couple that with, your print stuff and make sure that you have a really holistic strategy in place.
Great. All right. So as you know, the premise of this podcast, this interview, is that my theory is that if you're a successful business owner or entrepreneur, you have something, one trait, maybe two traits that you do really, really, really well. It's your superpower. Okay. You probably do 99 things. I know I do 199 things that I really, really suck at. I'm really, really good at one or two, things in my business. Your company's C3 Consulting. My recent book I was just telling you about in the pre-interview is Secret of the 3 C's, which is consistent, compelling content. I feel that I do that really well within my audience. So like, Casey, what is your superpower?
So I'd have to say my number one superpower is being strategic, followed closely by being futuristic.
Okay. Explain.
So have you ever heard of Gallup's Strength Finders?
Oh, say that again.
Gallup's Strength Finders?
No, I've heard of the Gallup poll, but no, not Gallup. No.
So I have an executive coach who's a strength coach, and she introduced me to this assessment. And I always knew that I was good at kind of putting a plan together and being able to look in the future, but I never understood why. And I took this assessment and it revealed that my top two strengths are being strategic and futuristic. And I was like, I get so energized by doing that. So it's not only great for my clients, it's great for me as well. It's a win-win. So with being strategic, I not only look at, the marketing, the sales, and the service, but I have the ability to look at business as a whole and say, okay, we have this system in place for your marketing, sales, and service, but how is that linking to your accounting software? How is your HR team using this? And I'm really able to develop a strategy that gets them to their end goal. And for us, the end goal isn't just about, making more money. Yes, we all want to make more money, but my goal is to be able to put a strategy in place for people to impact others. So when you're able to, employ people or help someone solve a bigger problem that could be, detrimental to their life, that's very rewarding to me. So I thrive off of being strategic and having that futuristic view and helping our clients see how their vision can become a reality.
Gotcha. So I'm going to, so strategic and futuristic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To me, not, I could be wrong, and I'm wrong every day, as my wife asks Sue Mart here at my office many times a day. Those kind of contradict each other. Being strategic, have you read the book Rocket Fuel? You read that book, Rocket Fuel?
I have not.
So basically any company like Apple had Steve Jobs, and what was the Bill Gates has his behind the scenes partner. There's a visionary in every company, every huge, like we're talking like huge company. There's a visionary, which kind of, we talked in the pre-interview with ClickFunnels with Russell Brunson, and then I recently had Steve Woodward on. Russell Brunson's the big visionary. He sets the big course. Mm-hmm. But the other part, the other key in a successful company is has somebody really strategic that knows how to dot the I's, cross the T's, take care of filling in all the blanks. The visionary really can't and doesn't have time for it. It's not really what their strength is. So being strategic, in my eyes, means that you know how to make sure, put a plan in place, operations in place to get from point A to point Z. Futuristic is more like a visionary. See, so are you that rare person that does have a futuristic visionary, but are also a very good integrator within businesses?
Yeah, that's why it's my superpower.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me more about strength finders. Is it an assessment? Is it, because I know, so I read your one of your blog posts in the pre-interview, the 10 things C3 has taught me. And number 5 was exactly what you're referencing, your executive coach, Carol Delasky, about finding the right people in your business or with you is everything. So explain that.
Yes. Yeah, so I learned very quickly that while I can put the plan in place and I can see where we're going and, know how we're getting there, I'm not a good executor. Okay. So if I have to, I will. So when you take this assessment, if you just Google Gallup, and that's GALLUP, Strength Finders, there's an assessment. A lot of people will just do the top 5, which I think is like $34. And I just say go for all 34, because once you get your top 5, you're going to be like, man, I need to know the rest. So my top 5 are actually strategic, futuristic, relator, responsibility, and significance. So that responsibility strength is that part of me where it's like, oh man, if this isn't getting done, I need to do it. So I don't let things fall through the crack. However, I am not motivated by executing things. So you give me a list of things to do and I will procrastinate until no end because I'm already on, okay, what's the next thing we can put in place to get to where we want to go? And if I could spend all of my days strategizing and planning for us and our clients, I would be in heaven. My team is a team of executors. I have some people who are strategic. But when I first started, I had someone on my team who didn't have a strategic bone in her body, and she also wasn't big on executing. So needless to say, she doesn't work, with me anymore. Still a great friend, but we just weren't a good fit. And I took that lesson and learned that I absolutely need to have people that complement me. And, yes, we might overlap in some areas, but at the end of the day, they really need to be ready to execute, because when the plan is there, I need someone to carry it out.
Gotcha. And you referenced go to Gallup, but you can also go to your website, which is cclarkconsulting.com. And your blog post, I believe, was on August 7th, the 10 things that you've learned about being in business. Number 5 has a link directly to, it's a great read. You should read it. It's only, a few minute read, but listeners, viewers should definitely take their time to read it. Learn more about you and learn more about your business and your mindset. So next question is, if you start a relationship with a small to mid-sized company, like how does that first month look?
So before they become a client, I'm getting a real good idea of where they want to head. And once I have determined that, I'm figuring out if we can help them. And I will not, engage we go off of monthly retainers. So I will not engage in a retainer relationship with anyone until I know that we can absolutely help them get to where they want to go. And once they do become a client, we call that first month our strategy month. So we're really digging in and getting an understanding of, their services in depth. We're getting, to know their customers, whether that's doing interviews or having our clients do interviews. And we're understanding like the demographics and the psychographics of those customers so that we can write better content. So a lot of times when customers come to us, they not only need a marketing strategy, but they need either a brand new website because they don't have one, or they need a redesign. So we are building out that strategy for the website and really taking people through that buying journey. So we spend that whole first month of understanding, okay, if your, potential customer is looking for, a solution to X, how are they becoming aware of you? How are they considering you? And what is making them decide to go with you? And we put content in place for each of those 3 phases of that buying journey. So I'm literally mapping out an entire calendar of, okay, are we doing, tip sheets and blogs and social, and are we having downloads on like how-to guides? Are we implementing case studies? And I'm developing the entire strategy to implement over the next year and doing all the necessary research that goes along with it.
So during that first month, we had talked in the beginning, and you said you're really good at growth. What, during that first month, are you putting together a blueprint for how the next 6 to 9 months are going to look, and goals? And
Absolutely.
Is the client holding you accountable? Are you holding the client accountable? Like at what point? And it's really great, being a business owner myself, it's really great to have these ideas and these goals. It's really hard to have the execution to get a marketing system in place, to get a content management system, content distribution system in place. So during this first month, are you saying, okay, because you said you want to deal with growth. Are you and the client coming up with, hey, growth is X?
Absolutely. So before I even engage with a client, I know what their specific goals are. So we have like a deep dive call before I even send them a proposal, and I'm getting a good understanding of what exactly their goals are. And then the proposal is pretty much that plan of, here's high level how we're going to get there. We're going to implement, X, Y, and Z on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. And then each month I have a review call where I'm checking in with them to see where we are and how we're on track, and, what we need to change or what we need to do more of, and, making sure that we're staying on track to meet those goals.
Awesome. So Casey, how would listeners, viewers find you, learn more about you, research you, reach out to you?
So they can, of course, visit our website at cclarkconsulting.com. They can also find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, all by C. Clark Consulting. And then, of course, they can connect with me, Casey A. Clark, on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Casey, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
You did awesome. So listeners, viewers, that is Casey Clark. C3 or C Clark Consulting. If you want to do some more research on her, learn more about her, her website is very crisp, very clean. So, she talks about helping small and medium business owners clean up their online presence. She is doing that herself. So it's cclarkconsulting.com. Episode 29, for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs, and we are out.